Good afternoon, and thank you everyone for coming on this Cup Match Eve. The disappearance of Rudy Smith just over a year ago has struck a chord in the community as we share in the grief of the family who cannot close the chapter in their lives. I believe it's because of the silence of those who might know what happened to this young man, or to those who might have some information that would be very helpful to the police to conduct their investigations. Today, I'm delighted to be joined by Rudy's mother, Mrs. Madeline Rampersad, who commented last week at the vigil that was held last Thursday night that if there's anyone out there with information, you should just come forward and let police and Crime Stoppers know. I agree with you, ma'am. I believe that there are people out there who know and who have information. Also joining me today is MP Glenn Smith from Constituency 14, MP Michael Weeks from Constituency 16, Chief Inspector Pedro from the Bermuda Police Service, and the Global President of Crime Stoppers, Mr. Alex McDonald. Thank you all for being here today for a very important announcement. I'm pleased to have the opportunity to announce today that working together with the Ministry, Crime Stoppers has agreed to offer a monetary reward for information regarding the disappearance of Rudy Smith. It is our belief that this announcement could act as an incentive to those who do have some information to come forward. If you know something, say something. Rudy's family, friends, and neighborhood have all been impacted and affected in varying ways by his disappearance. I was comforted to learn that the area's representatives have been working with their constituents, listening to their concerns, and where necessary, bringing these concerns to the Ministry. I would like to take this opportunity to thank MP Smith and MP Weeks for keeping the community issues of public safety on the forefront and, where necessary, bringing those to the Ministry. But more importantly, I would like to congratulate them on bringing some comfort and closure to Mrs. Rampersad during what must be a very difficult period. At this time, I would like to take the opportunity to stop this part of the press conference for a moment, give the chance for Mr. Smith, Mr. Weeks, and Chief Inspector Pedro and McDonald to say a few words. First, I'll recognize MP Glenn Smith.
Thank you, Minister. I would just like to say I had the privilege or the opportunity to attend the vigil that was held a week ago in honor of Rudy Smith. And for me, I found it extremely moving. And I had the privilege of meeting Rudy during my canvassing trails back in 2012. Having said that, and the amount of time that I do spend in the constituency, I feel that there's people that are out there that really know what happened to Rudy Smith. And I came back, actually MP Weeks and myself had a chat that evening, and we said, let's go back to the Minister to see what we can do to get this back up on the boiler on the front for people to have the opportunity to place a call in, to give Rudy's mum some closure as to what happened to Rudy Smith. And once again, thank you for coming today. And if there's any questions later on, I'm happy to answer. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Minister. I spoke last week at the vigil, and I can only reiterate what the Minister has said and what MP Smith has said, that if anybody in the community knows anything, if you know something, say something. You know, to the police, they have been very vigilant, so they are doing their job. I mean, there's room for improvement for all of us, but in our community, we're going to take back our community and take control of our community. We must protect our community first, so it really starts within. Now, Rudy and his family, I've known for many, many years, and so I'm kind of taking it too hard, you know, with Rudy's disappearance. But I'd like to make an appeal, not only this disappearance, but any murder. There's a lot of unsolved murders out there, so we as a community throughout the island, if we're going to be successful, we have to come together as one. So again, any other questions that may be for me, I'm here to answer.
Alex?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Minister, ladies and gentlemen, as a Director of Crime Stoppers Bermuda and as President of Crime Stoppers International, I think I know more than most of how successful Crime Stoppers can be. And I'd like our community to know that when people call 800 tips here on the island or go onto our website and send an electronic tip. It's completely confidential. Over the last 10 years, it's helped the police solve many a crime. But unfortunately, Crime Stoppers is one of these organisations where we can't boast of success. Because being completely anonymous, we have to keep the information that we receive anonymous. So therefore, we're asking on behalf of the family and in other families on the island, if you have any little bit of information at all about an incident in this community, feel secure by calling Crime Stoppers, and your information will be passed to the proper authorities completely anonymously. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. As I've said on previous occasions in relation to this matter, this has been one of the more challenging cases that we've had to deal with in recent times, and we've made a number of appeals in that regard. That said, I'm very pleased that Crime Stoppers have come on board very proactively, and the Minister and Government and Mr. Weeks to assist us in getting people to come forward. I can't say much about the investigation itself. What I can say is that the remarks thus far are quite correct in that we do know that there are people out there who know what happened to Mr. Smith, and the whole purpose of this is to get those people to come forward. Whatever happened to Mr. Smith, whatever he may have done, or whatever the circumstances were that led up to his disappearance and we believe his murder, will likely prey on people's conscience that he did not deserve whatever it is that did happen to him, and these are the people we are seeking to reach out to. So I'd like to thank you for bringing this into the spotlight so that we can bring some closure for Mrs. Rampersad and Rudy's family. Thank you.
Happy to take questions at this point.
Just 1 second.
Just one question. Will you be able to speak to the amount of the monetary reward?
I'll turn that to Mr. McDonald.
We have a fund.
Come in front of you.
We have a monetary fund that the business community have helped us raise over the years. And we can give up to $100,000. But that depends on the quality of the information. And we have a small team within our Crime Stoppers programme that assess the value of the information. Obviously, we can't tell you how much we would give an individual if they give us information, because it really depends on the information. So yes, we have funds for a reward. We couldn't say that for the simple reasons is that we keep our information completely confidential. Our chairman and a small team of 2 others are the only ones that would know that award amount as the person who receives it.
Jonathan, did you have a query at all for the Minister?
Yeah, just one. I had heard from police that they were a bit disappointed that Crime Stoppers wasn't being used more by folks in Bermuda. How do we get something going on that? How do we get more folks to go ahead and make use of it? We reiterate again and again that it's completely anonymous. Some folks have suggested to me maybe it's not really in keeping with Bermuda culture, or people are still a bit nervous about it, but is it underused, and are there any other initiatives to get more people on board with using Crime Stoppers?
Well, I'll let Chief Inspector Pedro say a few words about that, but before he does, let me state very clearly that in my 7 months as Minister, we've worked within the ministry tirelessly to try to promote Crime Stoppers. We've had a number of announcements in conjunction with Crime Stoppers. We always talk about Crime Stoppers when we get the opportunity, because we do feel that it is underutilized. Not to say that we're not happy with the level of support that's coming forward, but as a confidential source to bring information to, we think people should use it. And I think, Director, there's never been an instance where any information has been tracked back to the person that gives it. I mean, that speaks to the safety and security of the information that you give. So I think the more we talk about it, the more people see that the avenue is there, the more that people have an opportunity to consider, and I think people will come forward. I don't know if you want to add anything.
I'm not sure what the source of those remarks may have been. We always encourage people to try and use Crime Stoppers, and we don't ever really know where the information comes from. It comes in anonymously from them. So it's difficult to say where you may have been getting that information, but obviously we'd like to see an increase in people utilizing Crime Stoppers and providing information that can lead to bringing people to justice.
Just Trevor, just one thing before I get to your question. It's an opportunity for people to speak. In a small community where we're all pretty much connected in one way or the other, this is an opportunity for people to speak and no one know how they gave information forward. We hear a lot of people, especially young people, talk about, I don't want to be a snitch, or I don't want to be a prick. This is a perfect opportunity to do something if, as a community, and Michael and I were talking about this earlier, as a community, if we're tired of what's going on, we need to stand up. And this is an opportunity to get a little bit of courage and call in and give information. Sorry, Trevor.
Why is it taking this long to officially come to this conclusion to use this organization?
That's a question that I don't even think I'm going to answer. We're here now, we're doing it, and thanks to the two MPs behind us, I think we're making some progress. So let's worry about what we're doing now and going forward. I can't question what happened in the past. All I know is we can try to do better and bring some comfort and closure to the family.
I can actually say something. Okay. I'd just like to clarify that, Trevor. Crime Stoppers is a standard feature in all our press releases, and it's not that they haven't been involved up to this point. In fact, they've been intimately involved. What we're trying to do is highlight this source, this route for people to come forward and provide information and highlight the fact that it is anonymous so that we can get a result and bring the people to justice in this regard. If you go back to the original press releases, you'll note that Crime Stoppers was mentioned and involved, but they're stepping up into the limelight and really trying to push the issue.
I would just like to also say something on that. Crime Stoppers is not one group of civilians. Crime Stoppers is a triangle. It's law enforcement, the community, and you, the media. We can only push what you, the media, print. And for the last 12 years, Bermuda has had a very successful Crime Stoppers program. As president of Crime Stoppers International, I know how good this program works, not just here, but throughout the world. And when it comes to our local community, they have used Crime Stoppers to help the law enforcement. The previous government and this government are doing their very best to make the public aware of how it can work. And that's why we're here today, to help the community and help one family in particular. It's now. Thank you.